Oh boy, is this gonna be a case of history is written by the winners? Maybe. I'll try to be unbiased. It is not my intent to make myself out as the hero of the story. I'm just giving my perspective on how it all unfolded. And the people on the other side did not exactly earn any kind of benefit of the doubt from me. So, early 2014, we meet ZGS Pubs and ZGS Pit. Good guys. We only had one brief falling out because of a game they played against a friend of ours, Villain. A lot of shit talking in the post-game lobby, which almost ruined a friendship, and it is the reason I do not play against people I know. Causes too much drama. If friends play against friends enough times on grief, they will not be friends anymore. I can promise you that from experience. Otherwise, they're both good friends and good players, still on my friends list to this day. And Rex wants us to join a grief team because we're kind of getting outnumbered. I mean, we got Scott, and I love Scott, but I'm not going to tell you he's Tricky Shot Senior either. So you got ZGS, Messy, and Mayhem. 3 large teams, and you just can't get a lobby without being outnumbered. Everybody's got a team. So first, we joined Hated X, which was Jake's team. He was an ex-Messy player at that point. He went by Solar Messy, Musical Messy, not sure of the others. And we get a few big wins, maybe lasts a few weeks. And then ZGS Pubs asks if we would like to join ZGS. He said something along the lines of, well, we're always playing together, so you're basically already on the team. So we agree and switch to ZGS. Jake then warns me about ZGS Lock and some of the wild messages he sent him. This will come into play later, and I mean, it's not that I thought he was lying, it's just I've been in parties with Locke, and he seems like the most laid-back person ever. He's in his mid-50s. No way was he saying all this wild shit that Jake showed me, so we went on with joining ZGS. A funny/not funny story, to be a member of ZGS, you can't have a name in all capitals. I didn't know this and made the name ZGS Rexy, but in all caps, and this wasn't allowed. And on Xbox, you can't change it to non-capitals because the name is already taken, so I had to make another account as ZGS Rex, and that's the reason she was ZGS Rex and not ZGS Rexy, because I spelled the name in all caps. And we're on ZGS for maybe 2 months total, got a lot of big pub wins, and it's like suddenly, I'm invited to the cookout, and I can get into the try-hard custom lobbies with all the big shots. The name clearly carried weight, because now I'm getting invited to jump into a series. I remember one with Matador Rubio, I think that was his name. One issue with being on ZGS is all the custom lobbies were European, and my internet was pretty bad back then, so it's 2-bar city. And I remember losing a 2v2 with him, and he's raging like, why didn't you revive me? Of course, I'd revived him many times, but luck does run out on the 2-bar. Same thing also happened with Magic Messy, and he will be very important to this story a little later. And Magic would message me raging if I went down, and it's like, I'm on a fucking 2-bar on your 4-bar host, and I still picked your ass up. I can't play the game for you. You're gonna have to use your own controller at some point and help me out. So there was some tension in the customs, no doubt about it. I was welcome, but not really. And Rex gets promoted to basically lead the grief side of ZGS, because it wasn't purely grief, it was also high round players. Now, obviously, Locke is still the head honcho, but when it comes to bringing in new griefers, that's her job to handle specifically. But, for whatever reason, ZGS Floppa and Magic Messy become friends, which was very strange at the time. Obviously, it doesn't matter now, it's a small community, everybody plays with everybody, but I'll tell you, back then, no ZGS player was friendly with a Messy player. That's some Lakers and Celtics shit, especially Magic, because nobody liked him. Pit and Pubs sure as hell didn't like him, and I'd only had bad interactions with him myself, and so ZGS Floppa decides himself that he's gonna bring Magic Messy over to ZGS, superseding Rex when that was literally her job on ZGS, and not only that, bringing in a guy that none of us like. Raver didn't like him. You could go through the list of ZGS players, he would not do very well in those polls for approval rating. In the party chats, those guys were always making jokes about beating Magic in under 10 rounds, because we'd run into him constantly on the farm pubs. So Rex tells Floppa he can't just add new players without her. That requires a team vote, but he doesn't care. This leads to them having a fight, and Floppa says to her, well, if you don't like it, then change your name. So she calls him a retard, and may have sprinkled in one other word that begins with the letter F. And I guess I could see it through the lens of 2025, but in 2014, retard was probably the nicest thing you could be called on Xbox Live. That word didn't carry any weight back then. I was probably called something worse 15 times that morning. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying it's 2014 grief and that shit is lightweight, especially when it's in response to being provoked. Even now, on Black Ops 6, I get called far worse things than that. I wish Xbox captured voice chat the same as PlayStation does, because I could show you some wild examples. People like to say, oh, you'd never survive OG Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, like it's all sweet now, but people are still saying wild shit in the post-game lobbies. Now, we haven't mentioned one little crucial detail, that he is Locke's son. So we're kicked off the team immediately, and many more left in solidarity with us. Pubs, Pit, Villain, Misfit, Mystique, Raver, Blunder, a bunch of other guys we recruited because they no longer had a link to the rest of the team without us. Funny little side story about Blunder, he lives up to that name. Played a game with him, and I went down early, he was last up, and he fucking head stomped someone while he was last alive instead of reviving me. We lost on like round 4 to randoms. He apologized after realizing what he'd done, and that's probably why he was named Blunder. Anyway, after that, ZGS was like 3 people, and every one of them was related. I guess 4 if you count ZGS Paul, who was very friendly with me when I was on the team. Ran many 2v2s with him, but from that day forward, never spoke to me again outside of a few messages of him saying all kinds of horrible shit about us. I've been told the French are rude, but sheesh. In all honesty, it's just human nature to be tribalistic. We all want to be part of a team and hate anybody that's on a different team. It's why the ancient war tactic of divide and conquer continues to work to this day. Now, what's interesting about Paul being the only non-family member to survive the Great ZGS Purge is he is also the only person I'd ever heard say Floppa was the best player on the team. That's a company man right there, he ain't looking to lose his job. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. There's a pretty well-known story in Grief lore about ZGS Freaky being kicked off the team because he was better than Floppa and beat him in a 1v1. And I mean, if that's the mark of being kicked off the team, we all should have been gone. But Locke didn't see us as equals on Floppa or Budzilla's level. Any wins we got over them, it was always the same story. Very condescending, oh, they weren't trying that game. Which is another thing Jake and another farm veteran Any Given Day had warned us when we joined, that ZGS don't really like American players, and I can't say if that's true, but it sure felt true at the time. And I sure as hell was not welcome to the cookout anymore. If I showed up, they're tipping over that fucking barbecue and tossing hot coals at me. If I was in a lobby and any of them joined, they would leave. If I joined into one of the European customs, I'd be sent a message asking me to leave. Lines had been drawn. We were now public enemy number 1 across the entire continent of Europe. It was the 1930s all over again, but I wasn't gonna hide in my bunker. A couple weeks pass and we run into them while running some farm pubs. And it's ZGS Locke, ZGS Paul, and ZGS Jug. And it's a blowout. I mean, they got fucked. And we're not rewriting history. This shit is on tape, no AI, it ain't a deep fake. They got caught in 4K, or back then, caught in 240p. The most memorable moment of that game is at the end, Locke crawling into the corner of the shed so he can't see us teabag him. Jug and Paul send me messages after the game, not very friendly ones either. There was some sexist stuff aimed at Rex, which I'm sure they were fine with because clearly retard is a bridge too far. But texting me messages of an ASCII penis directed towards Rex, all good, son. I don't have a picture of the message, but yeah, right after the game, Paul sent me a message of a penis made out of multiple equal signs. Possibly an overestimation. I think a minus sign would have been a little more accurate if we're doing things to scientific scale. And again, I'm not saying calling the kid a retard is okay, but there's always 2 sides to a story and you can't have it one way but not the other. I made an edited film of this game on Black Ops 2 which amassed over 3,000 views, making it one of the highest viewed videos on COD TV. Eventually, the views got reset because of a glitch I didn't know about, which is if you move a film to another account and delete the original, it resets the numbers. I didn't know that was a thing. Now, there was a spot in this game where there was console lag, which if you do not know is an Xbox 360 exclusive. One of the rare remaining Xbox exclusives we have, where Call of Duty would freeze for a second, then unfreeze and freeze up again. It would do it 3 times. Basically 3 severe stutters in a row. Every single 360 Call of Duty does it. And if you played Grief back then, you know what console lag is. Of course, they played stupid and said we lag switched. Which is funny because the console lag happened one time and it was in between rounds. Literally no one went down or was even threatened by it. But never let the truth get in the way of your anger. A bit later, Rex and Zgs Pubs, who changed names to Dat Revived though, ran into them again, and the rematch was pretty bizarre. Locke and Jug both camped the barn stairs with LMGs, long ass game, and out of nowhere, they both lag out. So of course, now we're IP booters as well. My conspiracy theory has always remained that they intentionally pulled the plug to make us look bad, because we've never had the ability to IP boot, never done it, never even looked into it. I don't know why they lagged out. Maybe Locke spilled his teacup all over the router. I'm joking, by the way. If it was me, I'd have spilled my freedom fries all over the router. Happy? Equal exchange of stereotypes. Now, from this point on, we learn of the ZGS lock that Jake had warned us about. I had said something to Locke after he kicked us from the team, trying to defuse the situation, saying how Rex just had an emotional outburst, she wasn't happy, he overruled her. I'm ever the diplomat. Which is very funny because to this day with top griefs, I still try and smooth things over and diffuse altercations between players. Can't we all just get along? Not likely. Anyway, he took that message I sent in private, showed it to others saying this is proof that Rex is crazy, which was very ironic considering what he did for the next year, which was stalking her on the leaderboards, and every single down she took, he would make a video of it on his Black Ops 2 player channel. Just like pure obsession, every day watching every game, trying to find any loss, and if there's no loss, he would use the downs instead. Exactly what he did to Jake and what Jake said he would do to us. Keep in mind, he's 55 years old at this point. I mean, I hope when I'm pushing 60, I'm not telling 20-year-old girls their pussy is dried up so they're getting anal. I wouldn't even say that shit now, and I say all kinds of wild shit. It was stalking to the point that Rex made a new account, and even his own team thought it was getting over the top because ZGS Headshot said something to Rex along the lines of, yeah, it's crazy he does that, and actually showed some sympathy even though we weren't on good terms with Headshot anymore, so even his remaining team saw how crazy this all was. I mean, what a complete 180, all from a squabble between teammates. Because how can we not mention the hour-and-a-half-long Boss Frank 3v4, where Rex carried Locke to the win and afterwards said, and this is a direct quote, "I love you, Rex. Oh, how quick they forget the good times." And since he was running out of people to play with, he started running pubs with CDC vs CIA Messy, which you may know as Brad Z, good player. I believe Zgs Messy is his brother, something like that. It's been a while. And Zgs was the leader of the Messy team, and I think in the early days, Locke and Zgs were co-leaders of Messy, then had a falling out. I'm not entirely sure, but there was mega, ultra, super bad blood between them. And I just don't believe my eyes, because Locke fucking hated Zgs, and by extension, Brad. In the party chats, making fun of Zgs was just what they did, it's all they talked about. I remember Jug, which is his son by the way, sent a message to Zgs making fun of him being in a wheelchair. Oh yeah, call one of them a retard? How fucking dare you, get the fuck off the team. Meanwhile, they're laughing about people's handicap. There's two sides to every story, always remember that. Some people are perpetually stuck in high school and will do anything to ruin your reputation while they're doing the same or even worse themselves. And that's something we will go much deeper into on another grief history video. Anyway, eventually it leads to Locke and Zgs playing together again, and it was just like, he must be really going through it, cause no way on earth those two guys ever run a game together again. You just couldn't picture it, and yet there it was. To be a fly on the wall in those party chats after that fucking reunion must have been a Days of Our Lives episode unfolding in real life. Enough subterfuge to satiate a housewife on daytime TV. I remember around this time, Zgs Messy was also playing with Rhino Gun 64. I believe this was the year the world shifted into the bad timeline we're in now. By the end, the only guy left on ZGS was Zgs, who very well may be the worst player in the history of grief. He's actually the catalyst to community highlights, because me and ZGS Pit used to watch Zgs' recent games and just crack jokes about all the stupid shit he would do. He had this uncanny ability to throw grenades and wild arcs across the map, bounce off 6 different things, and then somehow run back into them like it was a fucking magic trick he was performing. And with Zgs being the final piece of the team, they kinda went out with a whimper. And that there is the story of the rise and fall of ZGS, which we were kinda part of both. Because we brought a lot of structure to the team. I made a YouTube channel for them, made the banner, we recruited and vetted many new players, and just got it all organized. And once we were gone, ZGS was nothing more than the Rexy Obsession Club. It just wasn't a real team after the day we left, and that's a stone cold fact. And what's really funny is, in the end, Magic never even joined ZGS, so Locke set fire to his entire team for nothing. Now, I'm sure my retelling of this is biased to some degree, and I'm sure those on the other side of this story would disagree with that being how it all went down, and that's fine. There's 2 sides to every story, but my side of the story never got told, and this situation was used as yet another attempt to bury our reputation at the time, which was very popular back then. Now, I don't know if this is an interesting story, but it is to me, because through the bad and the good, joining ZGS was the biggest part of shaping who I was as a grief player. That drama fueled me and made me get even more into the game. It's like, we get to play this awesome game, and then we get to partake in the juicy gossip after it's over that is entirely based off of who won and who lost. Does it get any better than that? And now, you guys on Black Ops 6 are getting to experience the same cycle. It's already begun. Teams are locking into place and forming grudges with other teams. 10 years from now, one of you guys are gonna have a very similar story to tell, I promise.
Round restarting! I've given the other team another chance!